Good morning and welcome to this week's Grow, where we gather to recharge, organize, and work here as members of MWEG. We are so glad that you are joining us today as we talk about an event that we are hosting on March 21st at Utah Valley University, which is a screening of a film called The Elephant in the Room. This is a fictional film, a rom-com, and it's something that will help us create a way and an open way for dialogue around some interpersonal relationships. I am going to start by sharing a quick trailer clip of the film, and then we will speak with the writer Eric Bork, who will talk to us about what their ideas were with creating this, and we'll get into that. And if you have any questions, you can ask him as well. So 1 second.
Hey, I was thinking of ordering in some early dinner. I don't know if you're around, maybe you want to join me?
Let me just see how much work I can get done.
Totally. You go.
You seem lonely.
I just left a message for my ex like an idiot. If only someone had been there to stop me.
I mean, I doubt I would have tried.
So you're dating now?
It's
I know I have to move on. Working from home, I'm not meeting anybody, buddy. Hi, hey.
Are you Leah? I was looking for 3908.
3809.
So I discovered.
I want to tip you more.
No, not necessary. Who knows whose fault it was?
Definitely my fault.
All your fault. Entirely blaming you. Should we hang out?
He's amazing. He's a chef, actually.
Grandma, I met someone I like.
Okay?
Don't forget condoms. What did you say?
Vincent.
It's early days, but
It's been a whirlwind. I'll send you his Instagram. We have a very strong connection.
Is he a right winger? Well, I only voted for him twice.
Oh my God! You'd look past it.
That's what I want.
So if it's just about sex, who cares? So what do you like about him?
Look, I don't think he's a nice guy.
Okay.
He's just more open about it, which is refreshing.
That is refreshing to you?
Tell her you think the election was legit. She'll eat that up.
I should be clear. I don't do casual.
I'm a bit old-fashioned in that way. I am closed for business. The door is locked, the chain is on, there's armed security out front.
We can't just leave it there, can we?
He doesn't think the election was stolen.
What a heroic position. Wow.
Okay, so great. Now it works. So now you have a little bit of an idea of what this screening is going to be about. And so, Eric, if you want to come in and on camera and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how this came about.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. So sorry for the technical glitches. I'm Eric. I'm the writer, director, producer, and also wearer of many other hats on this. It was basically just me for a very, very long time. Wrote very many drafts of the script and eventually was able to raise the money to make the movie. It's my directing debut, feature debut, but I have a whole screenwriting career behind me that led to this. So initially it was just, after the first Trump election, I got really kind of obsessed with polarization. I was definitely in the left Hollywood bubble, I guess you could say. And I decided, I decided that different politics as the thing in the way of a relationship in a romantic comedy was an interesting concept in today's world. And in a romantic comedy, you're always looking for the thing in the way of the relationship. So at first, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a movie about this issue and change the world. And I still wouldn't be pretentious enough to say this movie is going to change the world or whatever. But as I started raising money, I started finding there were groups that cared about political polarization and were doing something about it, nonprofits, some of whom came on board to really help support the project and help fund it and give me advice on the script and rewriting the characters so that both a Trump supporter who was more of a foreign entity to me, and the liberal would seem both realistic and sympathetic to both sides, and you would want them to be together, but understand why it's hard, et cetera, et cetera. We did, we finally made the movie. We test screened it to people of all persuasions and got feedback and edited it further, and it finally got finished a few months ago, and it just started having its first screenings last month. Listen First has helped us find wonderful hosts such as MWEG who are interested in doing screenings. And so we're in the very, very early days of showing it to people as a finished movie. But so far it's been going well as we show it and have discussions afterwards. People seem very engaged. They laugh. They like the story for the most part, and they have a lot to say later about the issue of relationships with people across the divide, because we all have that in our lives somewhere, it seems like today.
So Eric, with the screenings that you're doing, and I think this will also, I think I saw this will also be part of National Week of Conversation, is what is your hope after the film? What the goal after to get people talking to like
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit modest about like what it's going to do for society, because I'm really just the filmmaker, the creative person who just want to tell a good story with good characters that would be moving and interesting. I mean, of course, I think polarization is a big problem and would love it if this led to, people looking at it in a new way, in a softer way, because it's a very lighthearted way of looking at this, right? I don't think there's anything super controversial or contentious in the movie. It's just two people with opposite views. How we're going to work it out. And there's just a lot of human stuff about loneliness and isolation, and should you try to change people and so forth. So, my hope is people like the movie and talk about it. And, the ideal thing would be if it becomes written about and talked about and reaches a wide audience. And, I'm sure there'll be some people who, on the left who think it's like the wrong timing or the wrong message, like, and people on the right who will think, this was made by liberals. I don't know. There's all kinds of people that might not like it on the far reaches, but I think in the vast middle, it tends to go down kind of smoothly, and people are like, yeah, we need this right now. So I'm hoping that that's the reaction, but it's still early to see. But of course, as someone who believes polarization is a big problem, I want others to start to wake up to that too, and maybe come out of the echo chamber a little bit, while understanding that that doesn't mean you have to give up your values or your positions on any issues, which is the thing people tend to miss when you talk about polarization. They think it means meeting in the middle politically, and that's not what it means. So some of these panels, that's definitely what's being talked about afterwards.
Yeah, so we, for those who are planning to attend already and have signed up, you may have seen we are planning to have a discussion after. We have our Director of Communities, Alexis Bradley, will be speaking with us, and we'll have another guest to foster a conversation. Alexis, do you want to talk about the communities part of this event that we're having?
Yes, we are really excited to gather and build community. Right now, we're hearing from so many of our members that they need help and support in the different political beliefs and how it affects relationships in their families. And we hope that this will really open some important discussion about that. And I love I've only seen the trailer so far, but I'm really interested to see how it's going to resonate with hopefully a lot of our members. We want them to bring friends and family. You can bring your spouse to this. I even think my teenagers would be really fascinated. And I've heard a lot of conversation as I have teens hanging out at my house all the time, and they'll reference different political parties with a certain sound of disgust in their voice and talk about, oh, he's so hot, but he's probably this. And so I think this is something that really we're seeing in every single area of our lives. And my hope is that it can just create some conversation and some connection, and hopefully help everyone feel just a little bit better in going forward and navigating some of those relationships, because I think it really normalizes it. So we're excited as community area in MWEG to help just engage some of this conversation. And Eric, I'm so excited to watch this, and thank you for making something that is lighthearted and entertaining that will really hopefully help us have meaningful conversations.
Yeah, so again, I put the link and I can do it again into the chat. If you are in Utah County or near Utah County, you can just register. It's free. It's not just for MWAG members, it's for college students, it's for neighbors, it's for anybody that would like to come and join in. We've got plenty of space. So we hope that you'll join us on Friday, March 21st for the screening. And and if you're not local and you're maybe interested in doing an online screening, send me a message and we can look into arranging something like that. But like Alexis said, this is a communities event where we just want to be able to gather MWAG members and like-hearted people who just want to be together and have a discussion, like Eric said, about polarization and how we can have resolution to that in our interpersonal relationships. So thank you to Eric for joining us, and thank you for making something that we can, a film that we can share, like Alexis said, that's lighthearted and fun. And I've watched it a couple times. I'm the only person besides you that's seen it. I've watched it a couple times, and this, you know, the second time I watched it, I think I laughed more because I already knew the premise and I knew it was coming, and so then I could kind of see the lightheartedness even more. So I look forward to joining everybody next Friday evening. And if anybody has any questions for Eric, I do know one thing that I found was interesting was that you did some crowdsourcing for funding, correct? How did that work, and what was that like?
Yeah. Well, I started using WeFunder, which is it's like Kickstarter only for investing instead of just giving to a project, but you can still give people like special rewards and perks, including like producing credits in the movie and stuff like that. So I got on the WeFunder site and to date, I've raised about 180,000 there, and we're closing it on April 18th. So it's like a final push to get more investors before the campaign closes, because we still need money for marketing and promotion and doing a premiere in DC and other things we want to do to get the movie really out there eventually. So that was great, but we also raised probably 100,000 from donations and grants from nonprofits and individuals who really just care about polarization. So we have a fiscal sponsor where people can donate money, not, tax deductible money, to the movie through the fiscal sponsor, which is called the Wedgwood Circle. And so we've raised a significant amount of money that way as well. And, that's still a very small amount to make a feature film on. 250, 300,000 is like nothing, with professional actors who you've seen on TV and in movies and commercials, and with a professional, look and feel to it. So it was very much a shoestring project, but WeFunder, worked out well to eventually find, money from investors that we didn't know who, looked at our pitch online.
Julia, did you have a question?
Yeah, similar to what I just saw in the chat as well. So I live in Colorado, but I will be in Utah for the conference, so I'll be able to watch it. But I think it would be a fun thing to show to other friends. And so I'm just wondering what kind of access we can have to maybe have our own screenings, or if Eric knows when there might be other public screenings in other places.
So the film is going to be in the Better Together Film Festival in late April, which is Listen First's film festival. It's the only scripted movie with 5 documentaries and us. And I know that they're reaching out to their network of local partners and bridging organizations, 500 plus, to offer people to screen the movie as part of the festival, to screen multiple movies of these 6 if they want. So that's an opportunity that's going out to all kinds of groups out there. So if you're affiliated with a bridging organization where you live, there's a possibility that they'll get that information. Certainly anyone is free to email me. I mean, setting up screenings is sort of a one-by-one thing right now. We don't have a whole list of them happening that, go to this one, go to that one. They're kind of happening one by one, just starting. And probably the festival will be one big push, and then there'll be additional screenings being set up. But we're very interested in finding partners to do screenings, whether on college campuses or nonprofits, or, they can be done in theaters. They can be done where you charge admission. We're set up that way. They can also be done with a small screening fee, and you don't have to charge admission. There's different models of how to do it, but it's kind of very DIY right now. But we do have a distributor who's handling the logistics of Monkey Wrench Films, of getting a screening going and materials that we can give out. So if you're interested in trying to launch your own screening, you can let me know through Rachel, and I can give you more info on that.
Great,
Yeah,
thank you.
Julia, there may be MWEG, we have a license for it, so we could do some online ones that would be MWEG sponsored. Then you could do like the in-home hosting similar to the abortion talks events that we did before.
Okay, cool. That would be great. I think we should look into that after the conference.
Yeah. And I saw another question about a flyer. I will post an image in MWEG Central that you can do. I know on MWEG's Instagram page, there is also a flyer. We have also a student flyer that has been posted at UVU for students with a QR code to the registration. So I can post those different things so you can share them in your circles. But definitely, I would definitely recommend that. It's pretty easy if you go to MWEG's Instagram and find the post for that. Then you can share it to your own Instagram page with a link to the registration. All right, do we have any other questions? Questions for Eric? Questions about the event? I don't see any other questions. Well, thank you again, Eric, for being here. And thank you everybody else for joining us for this week's Grow. Next week, we're going to do a quick conference preview because we do have our conference on March 22nd on Saturday at UVU. In-person tickets are sold out for that, but if you are interested in a virtual ticket, those are still available that you can register for that. And information for registration to the conference is also in MWEG Central and mweg.org. But until then, we'll see you guys next week at the Grow. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all. Thanks so much for doing this. Hope you all enjoy.